My dog is downstairs. I could pick her up and bring her to my room, but that's downstairs and she's taking a nap and I don't want to wake her up.
Good, don't. Alright. So, yeah, this is the podcast.
Oh yeah, I'll start recording. There we go.
Alright.
Now,
Wait,
now
hold
we're
on.
in
3,
business.
2, 1. Hello there. Welcome to the podcast, the Canon Cast, or Non-Canon Podcast. I don't know, it's Non-Canon Cast, is it not?
I mean, you're non-canon.
We're all non-canon. Okay, so, so, yeah. So, I'm Dr. Pierson, and this guy here is the devil.
Yep.
Quite literally, the
Lit-
devil.
Yep.
But yeah, he's Dr. Antdem0n, so, hey.
Yep. The name started as a bit and now it's the real thing. Let's go.
Let's fucking go! Right.
Yeah.
So, we're both from the RPC Authority website, which may be a bit biased.
Yes.
Very biased on a lot of things right now.
We're incredibly biased, yeah.
God, imagine we're going to talk about SCP. Well, we are. We're going to be eventually talking about SCP content, and then some SCP viewers are going to be like, this is bias. But at the same time, we're like, yeah, so.
Yes.
But think of it as outside perspective. Oh my god. My microphone is falling apart. Why?
I mean, have you tried screwing it back together?
I mean, it has a tightening tightener or whatever, but yeah, whatever. So yeah. Interesting. So yeah, basically, RPC Authority is just the SCP Foundation, but very different approach. Correct?
Yeah, kind of. Same overall concept, different lore and execution.
Yeah, different execution. But yeah, let's talk about lore specifically. So RPC Authority. What differentiates basically both sides is one, non-canon, number two, single-canon, but also a lot of things of how things work in both universes.
Yeah, pretty much. The Foundation is significantly stronger than the Authority in universe.
Yeah.
The Authority has several weaknesses and flaws in the way it runs things in universe that are acknowledged.
Oh, absolutely. But I think what's most important is that both have a pros and cons to it, essentially. Like the Foundation being so powerful, or overpowered, I guess, as the term would be, it would be unrealistic. Because the Foundation takes their form of realism out of the window. They just throw it out.
Yeah, although I think we are getting, like, I thought we were supposed to talk about, like, non-canon versus canon. This is a little bit.
Oh, I thought we were going to be talking about that throughout the episodes anyway, but sure.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Sure,
Yeah,
why
no,
not? Yeah, sure. But like,
we'll keep on this discussion.
Yeah, but we're like setting up the premises of like
Yeah.
differentiations between both sides.
Yes,
of course. And like, yeah, one side is an overpowered institution that seemingly can topple a government versus one that is not that powerful, so it's in between, but it needs like the legitimacy and support from other governments to like promote their agenda. Well, not their agenda, but their goals. I mean, just
We literally had an event called Budget Cuts. Like,
literally budget cut. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, budget cuts was like an amazing writing event. Not because of the premises, it was basically failsafe 2.0, but essentially it legitimized the consequences of what happened in failsafe and showed us that the organization of the Authority isn't so, how to put this, like, rich. They're not that rich. There we go.
yeah, I mean, from a governmental standpoint, I want to clarify, like, they're not, like, running on $2 in a half-eaten bagel.
I'm pretty sure they have a Subway sponsorship in the site.
Yeah.
Or like a Starbucks. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually have a Subway in their cafeteria.
SCP and RPC seem similar on a surface level, but like as soon as you get into even below, like even an inch below that little bit of surface, it's
Yeah.
radically different.
Oh, absolutely. It is very, very different because the premise, the whole site is basically run on a contradictory policy, or as many of us would call it, the non-canon policy. Non-canon.
Yes, the no canon policy. It's
I mean, like, it's kind of. I'm not saying it's controversial because if I
It's
say
not.
if I say controversial, that would mean like there's some negativity towards it, or like a lot of people don't support it. I mean, like, there are some people in a minority side of the SCP Foundation that believe there should be a single canon, but personally, I don't think that's possible because they're
Not anymore.
yeah, they're too big, honestly, and like there's way too many people that has their own perspectives slash opinions, also known as a headcanon, on what they take as canon within the site.
Yep. And it is genuinely just like past the point of no return for any semblance of canon.
Mm.
Like you'd have to purge like a good like 50% of the site at minimum to get a single canon going.
Oh god, no! I had this conversation with you and like some other people back then, where we talked about like if SCP had a single canon, then obviously, like you said, like most of the content they have to reconsider, delete, or rewrite, which is something they don't want to go through given the circumstances behind it.
Yeah, do you have any idea how many articles are on site? How many words have been published to the foundation?
Above 7,000, I know that for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're on Series 7, which is basically SCP 6,000 to 6,999.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there's like thousands of tales. So I can only imagine how many words are published on site that you'd have to read through.
God, it'd be endless. Like, oh, even the worst part. Like, I remember having this conversation in the Confic server, where basically, like, you know, the exploring series, right?
Yes.
I remember having this conversation with Lack of Lepers and like other people, where basically someone mentions like, exploring series was the best person to work on to do an explaining series of SCP canon, and I'm just like, but the real question is, does he know there's non-canon? Because if he's just exploring the series and is unaware that they're all not connected, then I feel so bad for him.
I think he is. I think he is well aware.
Imagine someone telling him, and it would shatter his like, shatter his like momentum. Just like, oh wow, all of the works I've been doing, they're not even canon or real.
Well, I mean, technically they are canon, and just his own personal head canon, which happens to be
That
highly influential.
that is very understandable. But then like, but like under this like assumption or like basis, then like you know the way SCP animations present this of this is how the SCP Foundation is, without like the majority of audience or viewers don't even know that there is a non-canon policy, because then most of your viewers would assume what your SCP animation channel is telling you is what is the SCP Foundation, which is a huge giveaway in my opinion. Not a huge giveaway, but still, it just
Yeah.
yeah, you get what I mean. But like,
Yeah.
it just rubs off the foundation in a different way, because then like, if you have like a perception, a huge audience of people who believe this perception, and then you get a mix and match of people who of what people think the SCP Foundation is essentially.
I mean, it's something you already get in the foundation. The SCP Foundation is just a bunch of different circles of people
Mm-hmm.
who all have their own interpretations of what the foundation is.
Yeah, but then you don't have like a consistency of individuals who share a same thought of what the foundation is. Because if you, it's like, think of a tree. There's too many roots for it to branch out, and like many people are taking different steps to it. Then you have like a huge group of community with varying amounts of opinions that one way or another will never be pinned down as real.
Yeah, the weird analogy, but I get you.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. Again, I wish I was prepared, but unfortunately, I am not. So that's why I am sounding like I'm a crazy guy right now.
I mean, and it doesn't help that you're already a bit schizo, but you know.
Shut up. Um, I'm not a schizo. What are you talking about? Did you hear that,
Get
David?
out of my head.
Get out of my head, David.
I'm not actually a real person. I'm just like a figment of your mind.
Yeah, and I'm just like recording nothing. It's just like a cassette tape. It's just like, and I'm just typing into nothing into a broken ass computer. But yeah. But yeah, the only thing that would be canon is just what the SCP Foundation is. Its motto, logo, and seal.
And even then, that's actually subject to change and sometimes.
Not really, because
I've I've seen like tales and articles which say like, oh, SCP actually stands for whatever, or the motto is actually whatever. Uh,
that's strange because I've never encountered anything like that actually. Even if I did, that would be a minority spot.
it'd be a minority, but the fact that it's subject to change, despite the whole like it's subject to change because of the whole no canon policy. So
But like,
I
even so, like the way when I was analogizing the whole tree root thing, where people are taking different approaches to what they believe is canon. I think everyone is on the same route when it comes to the foundation being canon, because it is what it is. It is the only thing that is canon to the entirety of the community. Its logo, seal, and so forth.
yeah, I mean unless you have the you follow the unfounded canon, in which case
The unfounded
even
canon.
that
The unfounded canon.
unfounded canon. The unfounded canon is a canon within the SCP site where the SCP Foundation was never founded, so anomalies just kind of
Ah.
are a part of everyday life.
Oh, so wait, is there like a government agency like the foundation that sort of handled this and unfounded, or there isn't?
I I it depends on the writer, but like anomalies just kind of like are a part of life. So
I
like you would just like go to like I don't know like Times Square or something, be like, oh, that's a statue, or if you don't look at it, snaps your neck. Cool. Anyway, let's go.
Really, no one just like stops it, not even like a police.
Well, I mean, someone would probably stop it, like logically speaking, but like it's to prove a point.
Oh, my toaster, it's not making toaster, it's making peanut butter. Huh.
Yeah, neat,
God,
interesting.
I would be so pissed if my toaster started making peanut butter. God, I hate peanut butter.
Fuck you.
Why, do you like peanut butter?
Yes, I do actually, as a matter of fact.
Says the
But
guy.
that's a little bit. That's a topic for another day.
Says the guy who doesn't like mayonnaise. Anywho,
What the fuck do you think? I never said I don't like mayonnaise. I like mayonnaise as well.
oh, I thought you don't.
No, that was some other shitter in RPC Gen.
Fair enough. Okay, so let's deviate away from SP a bit and talk more about the RPC Authority.
Yes, we have a one canon policy. So if it's written and it's on the site and it stays on the site, it exists in universe.
So yeah,
Like
basically, you said think of like any RPC on the main list. It will coexist in the same universe, essentially.
yes. So like I can't go out in an article and just say, "Oh yes, in this article the Howlers don't exist," unless I mark it as non-canon.
So yeah,
The Howlers objectively exist within the RPC universe.
there's a bit of consistency that has to be there's a bit of consistency that has to be like kept in mind for other people. Like for example, if a janitor is in universe has to wear a gray jumpsuit, then yeah, all articles depicting a janitor has to at least show that they are wearing a gray suit. But they don't have to. They can just say, "Oh, this janitor guy's wearing a gray suit." That's it. Boom.
But it doesn't. In my experience, drafting shit doesn't actually affect writing all that much. Mostly because like, well, yes, they are objectively part of the same universe and things objectively exist. There's so little overlap within the documents themselves, unless you make it have overlap, that you don't really need to give a shit for most like common writing.
80% of the time, well, actually 99% of the time, all the articles don't usually overlap with each other. They just have their own story narrative within the same universe. But sometimes, unless it is part of the narrative, then maybe it'll overlap with each other.
Honestly, I think it's a kind of a shame. Like if you got like 4 or 5 writers together, locked them in a room, you could have them do some like wild MCU shit where it's just like they each publish like 3 articles, and then you have like the fucking Infinity War or some shit where everything just overlaps at once.
But
I don't know why.
there is something called a canon, that.
That's what I'm saying. Like make like a have 5 writers do like a massive like overlapping, overarching crossover.
Well, yeah, me and like TTPY are working our own canon called Operation Dawn Initiative, which I'm pretty sure you've heard of, or probably not.
I've heard it in passing, but I wasn't really listening.
So basically, Operation Dawn Initiative is a canon that basically talks about like Malthusian, well, not specifically Malthusian, but recently we've been developing it into a more so war on terror. The Operation Dawn Initiative is basically the war on terror, but more so war on anomaly after 9/11 and all that stuff. And so we focused a bit on Iraq invasion and some parts of the war on terror campaign. but in an anomalous perspective. Not saying like the war on terror and aspects of it were caused by anomaly, but like specified areas that are fiction that are caused by anomaly. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this website has a bit of like tendency to basically be against any lore, made lore that's basically, oh, this history section is caused by an anomaly. Like everyone has this anger, like whenever you're trying to present a history but stamp it with, oh, caused by anomaly, people get pissed off about it, even especially by myself, because it just makes the history look unrealistic, in my opinion.
I haven't really seen that, honestly.
Really? So
I
you're telling me something like the Authority causing World War I, it doesn't bother you?
I mean, like, it bothers me a bit, but like, I haven't seen like that much pushback against it other than that one bit. Because we have an anomaly on the main list that's literally the White Death from like the Finnish sniper.
The White Death? I don't know what you're talking about.
The White Death was a Finnish sniper during the Finnish-Soviet War during World War II.
Oh, I think I know you're talking about
Yeah,
RPC 074.
yeah, I believe. But yeah, it's literally just the White Death, and it's just like, well, we need to. So we get this guy, this authority agent, to pretend that he was the sniper who was shooting up everyone, with the implication being that's who we commonly believe is the White Death now, with the White Death himself actually being an anomaly. And it
Alright.
could be due to the fact that it was old, but I don't hear like that much pushback against it. I think it's rated like 3.5 stars.
Why? What's the historical significance of RPC 074 exactly?
It's the White Death, like, dude. It's a historical event. It's a person who
Oh,
actually existed.
okay. Well, no, that's just tame. But like I'm talking about like big events, like 9/11, for example. Like some people believe that the Authority caused 9/11, which is untrue. It just gets just people. A lot of people just assumed it was based on how it was worded. It wasn't really. So yeah,
That'd be really funny though.
the Authority causing 9/11. God no.
Yeah, but like, I'm just struggling to find out like figure out like why they would do that. Is it just like you
Yeah.
want to see if we could?
No, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't even do that because, like, you remember they have a reputation with the U.S. government and other nations. If they were found out that they
Yeah,
caused a terrorist attack on American soil,
the largest scale terrorist attack on American soil.
yes. Well, yeah, you won't know if there's not some other terrorist attack in the future, honestly. But for now, yeah, largest terrorist
It's-
attack in history.
As of time of writing,
As of time of writing, 9/11 is the most
the largest,
historically,
yeah,
yeah,
which has some foreboding implications, but we will leave those at the door.
yeah. Let's not get into the fucking like. Okay, hold
Yeah,
on. I was about to say the conspiracy side, but then again, the Authority is riddled with conspiracy sometimes.
it is a conspiracy, straight up.
No, like in history, I mean, like I said,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
uh, an advanced timeline. There's like a ton of historical conspiracy theories, like assassinations, events, but like not that big because if it was too big, it was like that big, then there would be huge historical changes to our timeline.
Mm.
Like for example, the moon landing. I don't think everyone will know that the Authority went to the moon in 19. Oh my God, was it 1910? Jesus
That's
Christ!
insane.
I
That is
know
actually insane.
that is insane, and it's canon. That's the. I'm not saying it's the worst part, but like it's canon that the Authority has been to the moon and other extraterrestrial bodies after 1910, or even before that, actually.
Which is absurd. How do you cover that up?
And one of the most funniest part,
What?
the Authority has a Mars base in 1949.
Yeah, like what is this fucking Nazis on the moon shit? Like,
Okay. Like, sure, the Authority has some realistic aspects, but what's not realistic is our space program aspect.
yeah, which is why I've been doing a lot of shit for Cosmic Embers, which is the authority
GRPC
in space.
is it
Yeah,
GRPC? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's now an alternate reality now because the Earth was what disappeared in 1979.
it wasn't disappeared; it was blown up, and it was in the '60s. But yes.
Close enough. Yes, disappeared in 1979. Yes. Okay. Oh yeah. Speaking of alternate realities, even alternate realities, no matter how alternate it is to the prime timeline, is still canon. Surprisingly.
Yes, although I do believe that CE is going to become an alternate canon, which is something different.
Oh no, are you telling me it's not gonna be not canon then to the Prime universe?
Yeah, it's not going to be canon to the Prime Universe, but it's going to have one canon in and of itself.
But wait,
Uh,
what's the issue though with it? Like
the
having
issue is that because Cosmic Ember is like sci-fi, it's like the Cosmic Ember timeline could just like bust out with like the Giga Chad class Star Destroyer in the Prime timeline. Just like, hey guys, oh,
honestly, I think the
you have
issue.
a
Sorry, go on.
it's like, oh, you have a base on Mars. That's cute. The Soviets took it over in
Yeah.
ours.
It's literally what's that TV series that Apple made? Communist Noon TV Apple. I'm just typing it right now. For all
What?
mankind. It's called For All Mankind. It's basically a show that basically asks you like, what if the Soviet Union were the first ones to land on the moon?
I mean, they
Essentially.
almost swore. They probably just like plant their flag and be like, cool, let's never do this again.
Because I know for a fact 99% of the people on site contribute to the main canon. Because like if you have a canon that's not part of the main canon, there's a high chance that not a lot of people will contribute to it because, it's not canon at all.
I mean, we have plenty of people contributing to CE, but that's because they like space stuff.
Of course, of course. But like would they take into consideration whether or not it is canon? Because like the way when SCP has a no canon, when you think of an idea, someone can easily say, "Oh, but I don't think your idea is canon. That's a head canon." But yeah.
Yeah, like that's not really. There's not much room for that in CE. It's just like we have a
Okay.
lot of. Although my main complaint about CE, this is a bit off topic. My main complaint is that there's more vapor lore than actual written material.
Vapor lore.
Yeah, like literally, it seems like everyone there is like dead set on like making more lore, and I'm just like, okay, but are you gonna write an article about any of this?
I just find vapor lore the most hilarious aspect of our single canon. Like it is. So basically, for those who aren't aware, vapor lore is essentially an idea conjured by someone or a group of people that everyone agrees to, but it's not written as a canon. So basically, it has to be written on the site in order for it to be canon. But if it's not on canon, then it's vapor lore essentially. But everyone
Uh,
still follows it.
I actually had a talk with Thermix the other day.
Yeah.
I think you were there. Uh, but like we were talking about like, so if a lot of people have vapor lore, but then
Yeah.
someone just writes something that contradicts that vapor lore,
That was me. I was the one
yeah,
who said that.
yeah, it's just like, well, what the fuck do you do then?
What the fuck do you
And
do?
I think my conclusion was just sort of like, get fucked. You didn't write it down, so
Yeah,
cry about it.
I just love it. Like, I know for a fact, fucking like, was it a scriber or a dimension? I don't, or fifth. I don't know, but like, basically, they have so much vapor lore on RCPA. I could be wrong, but they have a lot of vapor lore on RCPA, and theoretically, I could just write something on the site and just throw out all their vapor lore and just say, "Fuck you, I take over now."
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like that's what I meant. Like that's what CE has as well. There's so much vapor lore, but so little actual written material.
Like I feel like
I'm
someone should be scared for not making them canon because you need to be fucking worried that someone could easily overwrite your work like that.
like and my conclusion being like get fucked wasn't like an insult to those who make vapor lore. It's more of an insult on their speed. Like write this shit down
Yeah,
somewhere.
but I think to be realistic with you, I think no one would do that though because that's just a dickish move, honestly.
Yeah, but like what if it happens on accident?
What do you mean on accident? Like they
I mean, like there's like for example, there was in CE these things that were not lightsabers, wink wink. Uh, but there was also these other swords that were also not lightsabers, wink wink.
Oh god.
And I was thinking of having in a tale them clash, like having a sword fight with one of each sword, and like the swords be able to block each other even though they're both not lightsabers, wink wink. But then one of the authors went out and said, "Oh yeah, but nothing can block this particular not lightsaber because of this."
Right, right.
But then I was thinking about it. It's just like, but what if I just happened to not talk to this guy? before I wrote that.
Okay.
That would mean I've accidentally just ruined that bit of vapor lore without meaning to because I didn't know it existed
I don't.
because it exists in a Discord chat.
I don't think it would ever happen because, like, number one, you have to get critique for it, and if someone sees this first and be like, "Oh wait, it reminds me of this guy," or like in a sense of like, "Oh wait, doesn't this contradict with what we already have?" And so, yeah, I don't think it'll happen because it has to go through a critique process that eventually everyone in CE has to know about, and then be like, "Oh, you can't write this because it contradicts with what we have at the moment."
I mean, the thing is though about that is that it very nearly got past the critique process without the original author finding out. It was me who reached out to the original author to consult them about their thing,
Oh my
and
god.
that's how I found it out. So it very nearly got past.
But like at the same time, though, you could just ask them to take them down, right?
I mean, yeah, you could, but like that's sort of my point. It's just like, well, it's this is written, yours isn't. Get fucked.
Yeah, but the chances of actually realistically ever that happening is very low because number one, a critique process, and number two, you can just talk to them about it and they'll like, oh, it's understandable and so forth. But I think like vapor lore has its pros and cons, and like sure, the con side is a bit scary, but the pros, not so much because the whole premise of a vapor lore is basically just making sure everyone's on the same page of what a certain idea is, because if that's the case then you're on a timer before someone eventually replaces it with a better idea on your mind essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. And like vapor lore changes pretty often. Like I'm pretty we're some GOIs are going through rewrites right now, including Malthus, Academy of True Arts,
Mm-hmm.
and one other which I forget because it was kind of boring. Um,
Of course.
and so like it's Proto and like four other dudes going through and rewriting some lore so that it like works better and it's better lore. But they're not because they're still working it out, they aren't putting it on the main site yet.
Of course, yeah.
But then what if someone just writes an article about that GOI that just fucking ruins it? It's like, well, now all their work is just fucking for naught.
I mean, like,
Like, and what if it's a better idea than the ones they had? It's like, great, now all their, like, effort is just, like, get fucked. Could have written it down.
I mean, like, I think like the how to put it? I think like the good part. There we go. The good part about it, about the vapor lore, is that we as a community aren't that big. Because if we were that big, then there's a high chance someone out there would be overriding your work essentially.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Like, but, like, that's also a problem in of itself, because we are slowly growing.
But like not to the proportionate of what SCP had back in the old
No,
days,
I'm not saying that, but we are getting roughly 1 to 2 authors a month.
right?
Like, and then that's eventually gonna start growing exponentially
I think
because of how information spreads.
I think two authors is enough. But also the okay,
No, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. But my point is, we are growing bluntly,
okay.
and this vapor lore system we have is eventually going to be a problem.
But that's more of a future problem, essentially.
Well, this reactor isn't gonna melt down now, so we'll just like take it as it goes. Okay.
What's that meme from Chernobyl? 6.9.
Not 3.6. Not good. Not great. Not terrible.
Terrible. 2 authors per month. Not great, not perfect. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine until me and you just start talking about, well, hey, Antdem0n, we're having an author crisis right now.
Yeah, it's like I fucking told you so.
Well, actually, let's bet on the future on a future podcast that it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
For personally, in my opinion,
Mm.
I mean, like in a sense of like, oh, 30,000 people, woo! But more so like, it increases instead of 2 authors a day, it's now like 20 authors a month or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
2 authors a day would be insane, though.
Oh no,
Holy
sorry,
shit.
2 authors a month. On a month, sorry. Why did I
Imagine
say-
the fucking amount of drafts in the forums.
Oh my god! Wouldn't our standards have to be increased as well if that were the case?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh god. there's this one guy, a white name,
Uh,
who just like
okay,
who
for,
published
pause,
like
pause,
I
pause,
think it was like
pause. Okay,
uh,
so first
yeah.
off, context, white names is basically referred to new people in the server because you're not given a tag and you just have a white name, essentially. So no, yeah.
Yes,
Go on,
yeah.
sorry.
Uh, it's a white name whose name I can't pronounce.
Why?
And he huh?
Why though?
Because it's just got a bunch of consonants in it,
Okay, go on. Sorry.
with no like transitive vowels.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
Anyway, uh, but yeah, and he wants to become a writer. He wants to become a contributor.
Yeah,
He wants that green name master race.
of
Uh,
course.
and it's great. But he's also published like I think 9 drafts in the forums right now.
Wow.
And it's great that you're writing, but also holy shit.
But like, wait, but what's the quality like though? Just curious.
Well, the first one he published was kind of shit,
Of course.
but this most recent one he's published is actually quite good.
Do you have a link actually?
Is actually published on the main list. Let
Is
me find
wait,
it.
yeah, thanks. I mean, like, sure, like, I think the thing while you're finding it, well, the thing is about like writing your first article. It's never gonna be perfect. It's gonna be something. As long as you're working hard, getting the proper critique, and improving your style, eventually you're gonna get an article on the site.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a matter of like critique and process.
Have I already rated this article? I haven't. That's a crime. And you've rated this article. You know what I'm talking about. It's the water baby devil.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, that's made
Uh,
by the guy I'm talking about.
register phenomenon code 531.
Yeah, where they use their hair to fucking.
How much did I gave this guy actually? A four? A four. Okay.
Yeah.
I only gave him a four because there was not much clinical in it.
Yeah, that is something he needs to work on. This clinical tone.
Yeah, I even like gave him suggestions for containment protocols and parts of description, but at the end I'm just like, for the rest you figure it out because I'm not giving you a baby stool at this time. But yeah, surprisingly, this is an okay article. It's not exactly perfect. It's not at high awe or praise or all this stuff, but it's a very effort work that they did.
I like it.
Of course, of
It's
course.
a yeah. Well, what the fuck? Wait, what does that mean?
Nothing,
Hold
nothing,
on.
nothing. No, man, nothing. I'm only saying it because, like, you know, yeah, you like monster articles like I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, who
um.
doesn't really? Because here's one is almost, I'm not saying almost, but like, majority of it is basically, not monsters, but like, monsters, yeah.
I'm not
It's not,
saying they're all
I'm not
monsters.
saying they're
But
all
I'm saying they're
monsters,
all.
but they're all monsters. But I'm not saying the majority of it, but it's a half-half scenario.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh. Oh fuck. But
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great that he's writing. It's really great. But
Oh
like,
yeah, no, I love
holy shit, the scale.
the scale. Like, yeah, I think they've done effort. They're pushing hard, and it's nice for them to do that.
Yeah.
Mm.
But like, I can't fucking crit all these drafts. Why can't I hold all these drafts?
I mean, the critique process doesn't require you to go through all of it, but it is a must. But at the same time, it doesn't require you to go through all of the content. Sometimes you could just peek through some grammars, or like talk about the concept as a whole.
Yeah. But I like to go like
Mm.
all out in my crit.
Oh yeah, no, that's understandable.
Like,
I think
I
that.
think.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, go on.
No, go on.
Oh fuck. Alright, alright. I think in my most recent crit, it took me like an hour to do
Right, of
to
course.
like read through line by line and then like talk about the concept itself.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm noticing in RPC 531 the guy doesn't space out the paragraphs properly. Fuck.
Oh, look at that.
Ah, I missed this. How did I miss this?
Well, I mean, it seemed. Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
That's kind of weird.
yeah. I feel like this guy. I think when I said, "Oh, this guy did great effort," I'm starting to think he actually didn't.
No, he did do effort on this very clearly.
Yeah, he missed out a lot of things.
It's just like the formatting needs some work. That's a different beast
I
than
remember.
lack of effort.
I know a phenomenon. A phenomenon, as if it's anomalous. Um, a phenomenon in RPC authority writing, where basically a lot of people tend to rush their articles, which is a very odd thing to do. Like, are they trying?
Considering Like, there's no competition, dude. Chill.
I understand that, but like I feel like they have this tendency or like rush to work on something and post it on the site and be like, "Oh, I'm a writer." If you get
Well,
what I
that's
mean.
because like people in the Discord be like, "Oh, it's a fucking white name. All right, opinion discarded."
I feel like that RPC server culture is kind of unnecessary, honestly, because I'm not saying it discourages people. I just think it's just a weird habit, because then you're gonna transfer this a habit to a white person who becomes a green person, and then when the next person, the green person, yeah, you get what I mean.
There's a reason why we say white name and not white person. Pierson.
Did I say white person? I'm sorry.
You did.
Okay, all right, all right. But yeah, white names. God.
Even worse if you're a brown name. Brown name is if you're given off-topic or politics role on the Discord without having any other rules.
I feel like the color scheming is just very wrong, or just rubs me the wrong way, or any viewer, I guess.
Well, I mean, we have like brown, white, green, purple, blue, lilac,
Yeah.
orange, and red.
Well, for the research for the division's color, there's purple, green, orange, and blue for administration division.
Yeah. But like, honestly, the color system's alright. It gives like a kind of shorthand as to like what this person does on site.
And, but at the same
Like I,
time, when you're having like the division's color scheme, it's just a more so like, oh, I support this division.
yeah. But like, it's like I can talk to like Rotifer. I have talked to him several times. He's a chill dude. Uh, and like I know he's good at art because he has a purple name. Like instant.
Yeah. And then we have
Same,
the top artist section, which is
which are like a
me.
dark purple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is me.
It's only because you make videos.
No, it's not. It's more than that. I make more than videos. You know that. I make the
Eh.
logos. I make the graphics, the stick figure graphics. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean. The stick figure graphics. They're great. They're one of a kind. There's no SCP, well, aside from the dot one, that has done it perfectly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to talk about though, and something that's in my notes.
Yeah. What's up?
I wanted to talk about the effects of no canon versus canon on stakes, like of a story.
Stakes.
Yes.
Stakes.
Do you, not the meat.
Not the meat. Like
Uh,
what the stakes are, for example, like that sentence.
yes, like the
Okay.
like a high stake
Okay.
versus low stake story.
I'm so
What?
sorry. I'm just thinking about bloody steak right now when you said steaks.
I still skipped lunch. Like,
Yeah, I told you.
just
I told you before recording to go eat something, for crying out loud.
shut up. Anyway, but yeah, so I was. I believe it was you actually who like linked a story in Confic,
Yes.
uh, where it was like the Foundation ran out of money because Site 19 blew up, which
Wait,
is a
what?
really funny premise.
Wait, did I? I don't remember this.
It might not have been you. It might have been just you, another user with a blue name or a
Uh,
purple name.
okay. All right. Okay. So first off, what about Site 19 being blown up? What about it?
Okay, so it blew up and the Foundation ran out of money.
What?
Yeah.
Ha-
This is SCP Foundation. Remember, no canon. So,
that's understandable, but like I always perceive as the SCP Foundation as just overpowered bullies out there. Oh no, well, not bullies. Sorry, that's a bit of extreme.
well, the tale was kind of like to sort of combat that sort of perception.
Okay.
Uh, at least partially. Anyway, so the Foundation ran out of money, which is a fucking fantastic premise. I love it.
Of course they did.
And so now the story is about this character who I forget the name of, main character, MC. Uh, he is in charge of basically selling amnestics to Marshall Carter and Dark.
They're selling amnestics.
Yes, because their Foundation amnestics are better than everyone else's amnestics because of SCP-3000, but that's just some
But
non-canon lore shit.
but like, isn't that a bit dangerous though? Selling one of your top, the most advanced ways of wiping someone's memory to a company, ish.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the point. They're desperate. They're out of money. Wouldn't you sell your prized Yu-Gi-Oh cards if like you were out of money and you can make rent that month?
I mean, since I don't know what's Yu-Gi-Oh, then sure, I would be willing to sell it out.
You get my point. Shut up.
Ah, yes, this most valuable card, which I don't know anything about, is being sold to a company.
Fuck you, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, whatever thing you like. Uh, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah,
Yes.
and so they have to sell these amnestics to the Martial Garden Dark, and the stakes of the story are if they do not succeed in making a sale that's good for the Foundation, then the Foundation potentially either loses more money, or the person gets fired, or the person maybe gets killed because it's the Foundation, and of course they do that.
But
Uh,
but like, what happens if they actually go bankrupt? What is the scenario though?
I don't know. And
Like
it wasn't really explored in the story.
like do
It
like
was
like do the employees not get paid or
like
like?
I guess,
Yeah, but
I
like,
guess
but wouldn't majority of them have the sense of nobility to just like keep working without pay
it's the
because
Foundation. No one's there noble.
that is true. They do test subjects on poor assholes from death rows.
Yeah, yeah. Like fucking tell me I'm wrong. Anyway, uh,
But like, you get what I
yeah.
mean.
That
Like,
that's the stakes of the story. The Foundation going bankrupt is the stakes, right?
like,
That is the thing that
yeah, yeah.
must be avoided.
Hold on, can I pause you there for a second? I just want to continue what I said
Sure.
earlier. It's just that, okay, of course, nobility. But like, do you understand that if they stop working, the whole world is fucked?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like, who gives a shit?
yeah, yeah. Oh shit, the whole world will be fucked if I stop working. Yeah, but like, how am I supposed to pay for my medical care? How am I supposed
Yeah,
to upkeep my
I think
family?
it's less that and more just like what if they run out of money to like get more material to maintain the containment units.
Of course.
It's like, well, I guess we're fucked. GG. But now, so the story ends with them making the deal successfully through some negotiating finagling,
Of
which wouldn't
course.
actually work in real life, but that's more of a lack of research than a fault of the author. But like in the back of my mind, I'm going like, wait, but this is not canon because of the fractured canon. So
Non-canon.
even if the Foundation were to go bankrupt in the story, it doesn't matter.
But but besides, like, even if it's not canon, the chances of the Foundation going bankrupt is impossible. It should be impossible.
Well, like I'm saying, like let's imagine this was a possibility
Oh
due
dear.
to for the story's sake. I'm not going to be unfair,
Okay.
but because it's non-canon, because everything's non-canon,
Of course it is.
there's no there's no stakes. I can't get invested into the thing because no matter what happens, it's just going to get deleted in my head when I click to the next article.
And then you have people who say like, "Oh, this story is not pertinent to my canon, so it never happens."
Exactly. So there's no stakes. No matter how high or low or personal you make the stakes, there's no stakes because there's no canon.
Besides, someone can easily interpret this as, "Oh, it happened in an alternate reality, so it's fine if it's in my
Yeah,
canon." Yeah.
yeah. So, and then, but like no canon one canon, which what we have,
Single canon.
runs into a different issue because of this, in the sense that no tale or article, or well, no tale, I should say, because no one fucking reads those,
Of course.
can make the stakes way too high because then it breaks lore. Like
Yeah.
it's just like what if like there was a bomb, right? And you need to do all this shit to fucking contain it, and it would blow up the multiverse, not just the universe, but the multiverse because it's anomalous, and of course it does. Uh,
Wouldn't that be a poly and a paradox then?
well, this is the Authority, so it'd be Omega, I think,
Oh,
or
sorry.
Omega
Are we
Black.
talking about the authority now?
Yes, I'm talking about the issues of single canon on
Oh, I'm
stakes.
sorry.
Yes, that's how smooth my transition was.
I was just thinking something else in my head, but go on. Sorry.
Oh, okay, go fuck yourself. Anyways. But yeah, but you can't make the stakes too high in one canon because then it needs to sort of take up the back of the head of the people in universe.
Yeah. Plus, it causes like timeline contradictories and like a sort of ton of issue, or would cause non-consistency that lore staff. Yeah, we have a lore staff, by the way, side staff, lore staff, and so forth. And like, and yeah, no one would accept this if it was when it is in the critique process. No one would.
Yeah. So you can't make the stakes too high, which limits author freedom.
But like, you can technically loop that by saying, "Oh, this happens in an alternate reality."
Or just not canon, and it gets put in the non-canon section. You know,
That's
with the joke articles.
that's true. But like, still, if like I said earlier, like, but the majority of people want their work to have a meaning, want to be part of a bigger thing that affects everything in the universe. And so like, they could technically just say, oh, but I want it to be canon, but also to make it canon and like go loop around your arguments of saying, oh, this causes a lot of problems. I'll just say it's an alternate canon. I mean, alternate reality. It takes place in an alternate reality without affecting the prime universe.
Well, the problem with that is to make an alternate reality, you need, I think, 3 authors and 7 articles at
Oh no,
minimum.
no. It's not a canon per se. Like, there are articles out there that has like big things going on, but it takes place in an alternate reality.
Yeah, but then you sort of loop back to why should I give a shit then?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the same sentiment for any article in the main list, but not in the sense of like they ignore it. They accept it as a canon, but they don't give a shit as much.
Yeah, but like that's kind of my point. It's like either you can't make the stakes too high because then you need to put it in its own little corner.
Yeah,
But once
exactly.
it's in its own little corner, why do I give a shit?
I mean, if the concept is nice, then sure, you'll probably love it.
I mean, yeah. But like, I'm also talking the effects of non-canon and one canon on the stakes of stories.
Of course.
Like, you can't have like a gallivanting super agent for the Authority in a tale over the course of like a dozen chapters or so because you might fuck up the canon somewhere.
Of course.
I'm doing that for CE because there's like 4 articles for CE. So there is so like I won't fuck up anything. Uh but on the Foundation you can do that just fine because there is no canon. So it's
Yeah.
just like, well, what about SCP whatever? You couldn't do that because of this. It's like, well, simple. It doesn't exist.
I even remember answering this question when I was doing the comparison video for RPC Authority and SCP Foundation. Like, sure, you'll have contents that will be reconsidered, deleted, or removed or rewritten if there's a single canon in the SCP Foundation, but then like yeah, like I said, you can't have a single canon without addressing these first, and plus, like, part of that rewording and rewriting process, you'd have to redraft all those end of the world scenario articles to make
Yeah.
it work.
Like, you remember when we changed Class D on RPC Authority to CSDs?
You want to know
There are
some,
there are
you want
there are still
you want to know something
fucking
funnier?
what?
Me and Vaughn did that.
Yeah, but like there are still articles on site which use Class Ds because they slip through the cracks.
Not actually. There's only 2 articles now.
Yeah, but they're still there.
Yeah, yeah, and they'll be gone. Don't worry about it.
Uh, yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking of CSDs, I won't delineate on this too much, but it's way different from Class Ds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like they terminate. Well, this is subject to change and interprets to everyone's opinion and so forth. They terminate Class Ds once a month, and they use refugees and other means in the event of emergency.
Yep. Which, judging by how many like Class Ds they feed to anomalies, I'm pretty sure there's emerging all the
Oh
time.
my
But that's
god,
for another time.
I hate it when an article spews the fact that, oh, in order to contain this, we have to have 50 Class Ds/CSDs thrown at it in order to be contained. That's the most ineffective way of like
Yeah.
having a procedure, because number one, you're gonna need a lot of people, and number two, that's gonna be expensive as hell.
Yeah, I remember one article, like I went on like a rant about it in general chat out of nowhere
Yeah,
because I was reading every article in order on the RPZ site,
which was unfortunate
and
for you.
it is I'm still doing it.
God, what number are
But
you on right now?
like 70 something.
Well, you're close enough. You have 200 more. You're fine.
But yeah, there was one article, I believe it was 068, and that number's like burned into my fucking brain because of my unyielding hatred.
Oh my god.
And on a bi-weekly basis, I'm reciting this from memory, you have to feed 2 CSDs to it to keep it contained. Every 2 weeks, 2 of our CSDs are fed to a pipe monster. And because of one canon policy, this is what canonically happens.
Wait,
It's on the
wait.
main
Did
list
you hold on? Did you say they feed 2 CSDs on a pipe?
on a bi-weekly basis. They feed into pipes.
Is there a specific reason aside from the fact it has to be contained in for that specific reason?
Um, well, that's what they eat. It's like their diet.
They
It's
eat
not
people.
068. I fucked up. Uh,
Wait, what's the number then? Hold on.
uh, is it 038? My bad. 068's the good one. That's a librarian.
038. Let's have a look here. All instances, no more than 6 instances of 036. Wait, hold on. Twice every week, 1 CSD personnel is to be left in the chamber to provide sustenance to contain all instances. Oh no.
Yep. And the best
Twice?
part is,
Two
there used to be
times.
an image.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Uh, there used to be a picture attached to this, and it was literally just stolen from that one like horror artist who made Siren Head,
Mm-hmm.
which is fucking hilarious to me.
So, every year, they have to feed it 96 people.
Yes.
There's so many problems with this. They're like,
Yeah.
how.
Yeah. Why do you think I went on a rant about it in general
So,
chat?
the biggest problem I have is that how would it pass a CND disposition process? Like, that's a big number they have to take into consideration.
Like honestly, just feed it a cow.
Like, yeah, sure. Like, what does it have? Does it specify why it has to be human in nature? That's the thing.
It's just what they prefer.
Okay, so if we were to feed a cow meat, would they not eat it, or?
It doesn't say.
I mean, if it's just based on preferences, and you have a choice between spending millions of dollars on like just to contain one anomaly, but then you have a condition saying, oh, they prefer it, but it doesn't specify that they have to eat it, then you have a choice. Either spend millions of dollars just to contain the anomaly, or you provide a different sustenance of meat, like cow, for example. You know what? I'm gonna actually contact the author about this. I really
It's
am.
a 2018 article. Good luck.
Yeah, even so, I have to. I kind of have to on it anyway because consistency reasons. Let's see here. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like when I read that, I like had like 1,000 yard stare. Like I was getting flashbacks because honestly, like the whole like feeding people to anything is just a shit strat in general. And not even because it's like ethically wrong or morally wrong, but
It's
because of
just,
just how inefficient it is.
but also expensive. You have to understand efficiency and money because 100% right now, if this was written today, I can tell you in universe. Let's say in universe. In universe, if they see twice every week, comma, 1 CSD personnel is to be left in this chamber to provide sustenance to all contains instances. Full stop. I can guarantee you right now, the person, the ethics, what's their name? The disposition, the people who basically approve CSDs and all that stuff. A disposition officer will stare at them and say, no, rejected immediately because number one, it's expensive, and number two, efficacy, questionable.
Yeah, because like humans aren't actually all that good in terms of like kill per yield ratio.
Ah, yes. I thought you were about to say in terms of like how they are in terms of quality.
No, this is I'm talking pure cold-hearted pragmatism.
Okay, of course,
Um,
of course. Not
yeah,
the quality of their beat. Yes, yes, yes.
come on, it's me, dude.
I mean, you're the devil. I'm not even. I don't even know if you eat
Yeah.
people.
Mm.
Hmm.
Allegedly they taste like tuna, and I'm pretty partial to tuna. Anyway, but humans give so little meat per kill, and they take so long to grow to maturity
Yeah, that takes
that
years.
every animal takes years to grow to maturity, unless you're like a dog, which case it takes one.
Or
But
you're growing it artificially, in my opinion.
yeah. Uh, yeah, like cows take, I believe, 2 to 3 years. Chickens 1 year. Uh, pigs like 2 years. So very short time spans relatively to humans, which is 18, or 21 if you go by pure biological standpoint.
Or
Uh,
you could just have a baby and just like toss him there.
yeah, but babies are even worse in terms of kill per yield ratio.
That is true. No, but also
Uh,
I bet someone in the podcast who's listening to this podcast right now will like, well, what if they just grow humans? And then to their I say, I was like, that's a bit unethical though. They wouldn't even do that really.
Not to mention like growing humans just to feed. Like you might as well just have a fucking pasture of cows. It'd be better. Or
Yeah.
actually, chickens have a fantastic feed to meat ratio, but that's another story for another time.
Would growing clones actually be expensive anyway, just for just
Yes.
purposes? Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
growing clones is incredibly expensive.
The materials and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Like Daisy, a cloned sheep. We had the technology for like 5 years before we cloned it. It was just too expensive to actually use.
Okay, that's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you have a gun, but like every fucking bullet costs like $1 bajillion. It's like, well, I'm not gonna fire it because I don't want to go bankrupt.
Oh yeah, speaking of budgets, actually, compared to the SCP Foundation, we're very, very strict about how we spend money. Even a single cent, like even like and like how everything has to be basically documented and has to be on log for when every time something's spent. Because if there's like a, let's say there's like a single cent missing, the entire organization goes crazy and just finds what they're missing.
Turns out they just like fell out of their pocket. Some other dude used it to like buy Snickers from a vending machine.
Even if that was the case, they would still have to find where that went, and like someone would be very in trouble for that stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh my god! I mean,
feeding people to anomalies is not good. Not necessarily for moral or ethical reasons, but because it's just not good business. Use
it's not
use
practical. Yeah,
chickens.
not
Use
practical.
chickens.
Hmm.
That's or cows
But
if it's like massive.
but even so, that's kind of expensive, honestly.
It is expensive, so use the meat itself rather than growing a cow by yourself.
Hmm.
So use the meat by itself.
I,
Chickens and cows yield much more meat than a person would.
so wait, how many instances are there? Are there six?
6 and in containment.
Okay,
Uh,
so one person per six. Now that I think about it, a cow would be enough for an entire week.
I think more, but like a little bit more. Uh,
No, like I'm pretty sure.
'Cause
No, because a cow would have larger proportion of meat than a single person.
oh yeah, much larger. Like
Yeah.
you can't just compare straight weight either because most of human weight is actually our skin and organs, which aren't that good for feeding. Uh, the our meat itself takes up a very low percentage. Cow is basically all meat.
Of course, yeah, of course. Yeah. Plus,
Yeah,
yeah, it's fat
it also
stuff.
yeah, it doesn't make the monster scarier. And
Hmm.
I think that's kind of the point of like trying to feed people to the monsters. Like, oh, it's scary. It eats people. It's like, yeah, well, you know who else eats people? Me. I'm not scary.
I think it's just a preference at this point. Like, it's just preferential. It's like, ah, I prefer a cow. Oh no, I prefer meat. Oh, well, all meat.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's just like, get the fuck out of here with your feeding people to anomalies. I'll
Yeah.
kill you.
Yeah. Plus, if plus you'll just annoy some department head anyway.
Yeah. Like there was the water devils, the water baby devils article
Hmm.
actually had a really cool way of doing this. So it drinks any blood from any animals,
Right. Right. Right.
but because it's so expensive to just get live animals to draw blood in because they don't drink dead blood, they instead just capture them, put them in a tank, research them until they starve to death, and they just capture another one because
What?
there's so many.
Of course.
They're like fish. They're like part of the ecosystem. So you could literally do that.
I guess so,
Like
but
think about it like catching a cod. You catch a cod, put it in a tank, research it till it starves to death, and you just catch another one. It's part of the ecosystem. They're not gonna go away.
yeah, I guess so. And then again, you have overfishing and all that stuff. Ugh.
Yeah, it's too dangerous to like feed. It's not worth it. So why risk it? Just let them starve.
Yeah, I guess. Plus,
It's a real
they're gonna grow big anyway if you keep feeding it like that.
exactly. So it's not worth it to feed them. So they don't. It's cold-hearted from the animal's perspective. but it makes sense.
Yeah.
And technically it's ethical because they're an anomaly and don't have rights.
Yes. Compared to the SCP Foundation and RFC Authority, we are more discriminative than when it comes to the anomalies.
Yeah. Like
Like,
the foundation will like give them like, general livable conditions. The authorities like, here's your hole.
I'm pretty sure
We'll
we.
give you
I'm pretty sure we do the same anyway because the
Yeah.
UNAAC has pretty much a policy about like, hey, human rights. Remember? It was like, oh yeah. I mean, like it's very different when it comes to humanoids. Humanoids are exception, but like when it comes to objects or animals, there's some exceptions to it.
Yeah. Like if an animal anomaly, say that shit 5 times fast, fucking has like higher intelligence, well then you kind of got to take care of it
Yeah.
because it can think and has sentience. But if it's like some fucking weird water devil that sucks blood and doesn't have any higher intelligence other than basic strategy on how to drink blood, well then go fuck itself. It can go starve.
Do you
If it's
ever?
cute and cuddly, it's okay.
Yeah, I guess.
If it's not that, it's stinky. Let it starve to death for all we care.
I'm pretty sure. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure we all like for would RPC 666 if it was contained physically, would it have its rotors disabled?
Uh, Probably doesn't it have regenerative properties?
Regenerative property? Probably.
Am, am I fucking or am I like going schizo and just forgetting what the article was?
You're just gaslighting yourself right here.
I could be.
So it doesn't. It does. According to this, that's regenerative hazard. So that's interesting.
It does have yeah. So
But what
I
specifically kind of regenerative abilities? I'm not so sure.
uh re-
Um,
well I'm controlling effing it and it's not coming up anything.
no, but I'm assuming it's just it's implying that it has regenerative hazard.
Yeah. So you can't just shoot it down.
Yeah. Well, I'm
What
pretty sure.
what a shame. What a shame.
Well, they tried many times. It hits the aircraft, but it keeps going
So yeah, it does fix itself.
to a varying degree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it has. It's no one has fired like 300 SAM missiles at it.
Well, the problem is you can't really cover that up.
Well, I mean, this is the African continent, so I'm pretty sure no one will be able to report it like that.
I feel like you underestimate how many people are on
No, no,
Africa.
I no. I mean, like, okay, let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. Let's try the Western Sahara. It's practically a desert, so no one in a civilization populace would be ever to notice it.
That's true, but then you have to bring the Sams out there.
Oh yeah, shit, logistics now.
Yeah.
And this is why the authority is all realism.
That's the thing. Like, would we like to shoot it down? Yes. Could we? Maybe. But then we have to cover it up. Well, what if it's in a remote area? Good luck bringing the missiles there.
Even more, you have to like convince your fucking what's that department? Financial affairs officers like to approve 600 stamps anyway.
Yeah, like fucking good luck.
You propose this to your commanders like, great idea. One problem. What is it? You're gonna have to talk to Harold about this. Who's Harold? Ooh, the financial officer. He's not gonna like this. Nah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
It like drops down from the ceiling.
Drops out of the ceiling. Oh, I smell dollars.
Yeah.
Deny.
I smell expenses.
I smell expenses going down the drain. Income minus 24. Literally social credit minus 2.
Oh god. Fucking leans in close, just you smell like expenses, boy.
I smell expenses going out the window. Financial
Yeah.
is never gonna like this.
You got it written on your face. He pulls out a magic marker.
The magic marker is just readjusting the number of sabs. It just says 2, but this isn't enough. Well, it's only $200, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, not even $200. Stamps are more expensive than that, obviously.
Yeah. He replaces like stamps with like slingshots.
600 stabs denied. 600 slingshots approved. What?
Yeah.
I hate this conversation so much because we're just memeing the financial affairs department.
I mean, but it's pretty much what they do. Like in universe, it's like too expensive. Logistics are a nightmare.
You know what's
Fuck
even
that.
you know what's even worse? I bet some fucking in-universe protection or like containment officers having this conversation right now and memeing about the financial affairs. Literally, any conversation that's like spurging or just like mocking a department will 100% be guaranteed to occur by some person. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like budget cuts was a competition between departments.
Oh yeah, no, it
Like,
was. It was. It literally was a war on divisions.
yeah. Fucking RPC Authority Civil War.
Did you know that we do elections for unions, containment
You
union?
know, I did. You know, I actually learned that from a video made by some fucking loser named Dr. Pearson,
What? No,
who
no,
made
no,
this.
no, 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 no. That's GD elections. I'm talking about containment union chief elections.
Oh yeah, I read that on site.
Oh, so you're just calling me an asshole for no reason then.
Well, because I wasn't really listening.
You disappoint me sometimes, Steven. You disappoint me sometimes. But yeah, we have surprisingly elections for a secret organization. It's a bit unorthodox to a degree.
I mean, yeah, but it's like kind of worth it, because like
Plus,
if you,
we don't even need a union anyway. They're just there because containment gets pissy about rights, about their payment and safety hazard.
they can go fuck themselves.
Says some presidium guy. Hey, why are they complaining about this? Because they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
God.
Didn't we mention like classifying SCP objects as
Oh my god.
RPC?
Oh my god, we never talked about the object class.
Oh yeah. Okay, object classes in general. We should.
Yeah, let's just do this one and finish it up.
uh, I much prefer the object classes that we have over either the default object classes in SCP or the ACS,
Yeah.
which is a thing.
So wait, hold on. Object classes. Yes. What is it about ACS?
I don't like ACS.
I
That is the
mean,
moral of the story.
so do I, because this is just my opinion, but I think ACS took the aesthetic route, well, more so like, oh, it's cool versus being actually effective, or, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they stole parts of it from us, but like, uh,
That's more of a speculation because I don't know if that's
yeah,
actually true because I heard from someone that was a DJ Cactus work on this or
Yeah, I think it was DJ Cactus who made it.
okay. So basically, from what I understand, is that apparently the SCP people who were working on the ACS system took some inspirations. It's not like I'm not saying like they stole it; they took inspirations to our system because of how effective it
Uh,
was.
and they made it worse.
It's not that they made it worse; they made it unnecessarily bureaucratically complicated.
Now, that sounds like a lot of words when you
That
could replace that with, and they made it worse.
that's the point, Doctor.
Yeah,
So like they have containment class, secondary class, and disruption class, and then risk class, and then you have add-ons and extras, which is unnecessarily complicated.
and then like meanwhile in the authorities, just like how easy it is to contain. Oh, it's easy. Alpha, how dangerous is it? It'll end the
Uh,
world. Black,
Black.
cool. There's your object class.
I think an
Oh,
alpha.
it's
I think an alpha black would scare me more than an omega black because you might accidentally trip on it or something.
whoopsie doodles.
Whoopsie! I ended the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, comparing between the object classes here, which funny enough, I'll be doing very detailed of it in my next video, which will come out with this weekend or so, hopefully. And then,
I'm gonna dislike it.
of course, but also I'm doing another video about it called comparing between RPC and SCP object classes.
Man, really milking SCP for them views, aren't you?
Oh, I know, I am, I know. But like, come on, it's just a way for people to. I'm not saying I'm just dragging people just so like, oh, you should watch my videos. It's more so about like learning the experiences between comparing two sites that have similarities in terms of content and overall goals.
I mean, yeah, yeah, it sounds solid.
Hmm.
And then it's just like I cannot wait for the episode to come out. It's just you shit talking SCP.
I listen. It's not a way for me to shit talk SCP. It's more of a way to like criticize on what on like on, several, on what issues they have. But at the end of the day, what word I'm gonna say now.
It's non-canon.
Exactly, it's non-canon.
Yeah, yeah. You're non-canon.
Whenever time I say non-canon, I feel like my life has increased to one by one.
What?
Yeah, I feel like every time I say non-canon, I feel like my life has increased to plus one, as in like I live longer to suffer the life of non-canon.
You mean there's so many ways you could reword that?
Listen, I'm Dr. Pierson. I'm complicated. Shush.
I think you're just a bit dumb.
Yeah, I'm quite dumb, but listen here. I like to be sound smart by saying things that is not correct, or have a hard time trying to say these things. Yeah, but like looking back at the ACS now, oh my god, there's even they even use the term cool in the add-ons and extra. If you want more cool ACS secondary class icons, and then they show like extra icons. I think, yeah, again, this kind of solidifies my point that they're taking the oh, it's because it's cool route versus being an actual effective route. Like, I'd rather have the old SCP object class than this shit.
Hmm. Although the old ACP Algebra class wasn't really that good either.
I know, but like it's less complicated and it's more vague as it is.
Yeah.
I'd rather go.
Like,
I'd rather be vague than tediously let my viewers know what a Euclid fucking level 3 Apollyon Vlam noticed thing is. I'd rather tell them.
Cosmic Top Secret.
Cosmic Top Secret is a realistic thing. It's fine. NATO uses it. Like, I feel like they added like an unnecessary footnote by saying, "Oh, ridiculous name, mate. The Foundation has a lot more ridiculous shit than this one."
Yeah. Like, also I found it really funny how early on it wasn't actually clear whether or not the containment ratings were containment or danger. Like that vending machine one
in
from really early on.
in SCP or
SCP.
RPC?
Yeah,
Okay,
SCP.
yeah,
SCP. Like that vending machine one
yeah. The,
was actually classified as Euclid because you could theoretically use it to kill someone.
but like, wait, the vending machine that dispenses any drink, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, in my opinion, it's actually safe. It's safe, but
Well,
like,
no, it is safe from today's standards, but
yes,
like
okay.
because you could theoretically use it to hurt someone, it was classified as Euclid, and it still is, I believe.
The thing is, though, comparing like how we had this conversation of how we are differentiating from SCP's object class, we've discussed further on like whether or not they actually are effective. Like, for example, by just having, let's say, alpha, okay, it's safe to contain, but it doesn't tell you how dangerous it is. It's safe to contain, but we don't know anything about its dangerous nature that when we're handling about it. And so, like, we've developed the
Give it a pretty color sticker.
yeah, we gave it a rainbow sticker. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, this kind of solved a lot of problems we've had. It not only tells us of how dangerous or difficult it is to contain it, it also tells us how dangerous it is, which is great. But then you have like very terrifying combinations.
Alpha Black.
Alpha black with any containment classification is the most terrifying thing I'll ever see in any RPC article. If it's alpha black, then oh, it's mediocre, but still you can trip on and cause the end of the world scenario. Beta class, ooh, it's gonna get harder to not to not trip over, and gamma, it's gonna be very very hard for you to not trip over, and then omega, that's impossible. You'll never. I mean, you'll always.
The
Trip
world's
over.
already over.
Yeah, the world's
Yeah.
already over. Yeah.
But I think my favorite object class is Omega White.
Impossible to contain, but it's super harmless.
Yes,
Why? What's so unique about it?
because of just like how you would need to go about it, like how like what kind of shit you can make with it.
That's
It's
true.
uncontainable, but it's harmless. I mean, I guess you could say that with any object class combination,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but like thing is, but like if it's white, there's less resources being attributed to, so it's less expensive, and it only needs about like two people on it at times or whatever. Well, not two. It depends on what it does.
uh,
It's never the case of like whether or not the anomaly is expensive. Like you may have noticed that us when we're talking about anomalies in our perspective of lore writing the budgets of the authority, it's not just budgets, but budgets is usually the priority because of course our budget is limited. We're not fucking Jeff Bezos Foundation here spending all our money out there constantly on whatever it is. But like we're taking it on the basis of realism of how they would react to it and so forth. Did you know why we referred ourselves as Non-Canon Cast?
uh, I was there physically,
Yes,
perhaps not mentally,
but did you know why though?
uh, because we're non-canon.
That is true. I think the real reason was just basically to mock SCP canonicity, but at the same time, it's a way for our audience to learn and experience what it's like to have non-canon, or talk about non-canon in general. I guess.
Yeah. The next episode, we pretend this episode didn't happen because it wasn't canon, and so on.
Oh my god! Imagine that were the case for every episode. Just one episode, you just talk about, hey Pierson, you remember the time we talked about the financial affairs officer sniffing the papers guys on episode 1? I'm just like, what are you talking about? That video, and you just pointed out. I'm just like, oh, that's not canon.
Yeah, that's not canon. Not
That's not canon.
every, every episode is non-canon. We treat every episode like our first episode.
Perfect. This will be for every episode. It is.